putting in work. Putting in work. I thank God for the favor when the money come. Half for the time, tax fees, and sufficient funds. What I gotta do to get ahead, I'm on to something. What I gotta do to get a raise, they all be winning, putting in work.
Welcome to the Modest Sports Show, home of your college athlete, where we are player-led and player-focused. Guys, we have a very good one in store for you tonight. What's going on, bro?
Yeah, hey, I'm ready to get to talking, man. You already know it.
Ready to do it. Hey, there's one game that makes this week as big as what we're anticipating. Just one game, okay? Now, this week coming up, we have 4 ranked matchups, okay? So it's not too crazy. The slate isn't too crazy. Out of those 4, we're going to talk about 3. And then we have some honorary games that we're going to get into. Guys, let me jump back a little bit. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Help get us to 500 subs. Right now we're at 415. So, 85 more to go till we get to that milestone. But it's that week. This is one of the biggest weeks in college football this season. This is like, it's crazy how it's been advertised, but it's the truth. Like, we were talking about this on the way over. Like, this is like, what'd you say, Alabama, LSU, 2011?
2011, the 96 game. I think the magnitude of that game. And then we gotta wait to see what the magnitude is gonna be like on that Saturday, man. But the energy so far, it's finna be crazy in Tuscaloosa. It's fixing to get crazy.
I'm hoping that the weather holds off because I've been looking at the weather. It's supposed to be cloudy, but like 74, 70, like perfect playing ball. So weather, hopefully the rain and stuff holds off so it can be a dry game. I don't want to hear no excuses from neither side about nothing.
Not one.
Jalen, bro, let's get into it, bro. Let's get into it. For starters, let's get into Oklahoma State and K-State. Coming into this game, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, both ranked opponents. What can I say? I'll read directly from the notes. So both have played quality opponents. Kansas State survived the Tulane game. What else? Oklahoma State also having only lost the game to Utah by 3 points. So Utah was a quality opponent. Of course, I think they're ranked 10 right now. Some things that I noticed looking at the stats: Oklahoma State, heavy pass, heavy tempo team, time possession, 25 minutes, 22 seconds a game. Kansas State, heavy run, somewhat tempo, about 28 minutes, 53 seconds a game, time possession. I said Kansas State, they're looking to bounce back after a road loss to BYU in a blowout. I think that was a 38-9 blowout by BYU. And I think BYU is actually they're somewhere in that top one. They're on the top end in the Big 12 right now. So, I mean, of course, we just not getting in the conference play, but hell, even Colorado is up there after beating that.
Sure.
For me, X factors in this game are Oklahoma State's defense stopping the run. Kansas State heavy run team. They can do how can I say? I said heavy run in my notes, but they have ways that they're able to incorporate the run game. It's not that they abandon the pass, but they have a quarterback who can run, Avery Johnson. So they're putting him in positions to run the ball. So that's something to look out for Oklahoma State's defense. I said Kansas State's team as a whole is going to be their productivity. That's their X factor. How productive is their whole team going to be able to be? Oklahoma State, they're putting up points. The only game they didn't do that in was against Utah. Rightfully so. And so that's going to be a home game for Kansas State. So, like I said, that's a perfect opportunity to capitalize, bounce back off the road loss to BYU. And that's kind of my synopsis for this game. I think it's going to be a shootout, high-scoring game. Kansas State can score. The only time they haven't was against BYU. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be a very interesting game. Shootout. prediction for that game, I got Oklahoma State winning that game because I think their defense is capable, more than capable, to stop Kansas State. I got them winning, we'll say 41-38 in Manhattan. You got any thoughts on that?
My only thoughts would be, man, is it is a game for them in Manhattan, starting at 11 a.m. But I feel both teams it was kind of disappointing for the Big 12 openers last week. I feel both teams definitely disappointed. But I think I'm going to go Kansas State in a low-scoring game, 27 Kansas State, Oklahoma State 24.
Okay. Second up, Illinois versus Penn State. I like this game, and the reason I like this, I think this is a sleeper game, but I feel like Illinois, the Illinois Fighting Illini, I think that's their mascot.
Something like
that.
Man.
Illinois is beating two quality opponents. They beat Kansas. They're coming off a win this past weekend against Nebraska. I think that was kind of quiet, but they're a ranked opponent. Like they're in the top
teams as well.
Exactly. I'd say this is a defining game for Illinois where they stand in the Big Ten, right? Because I think if they knock off Penn State, they kind of insert themselves into not necessarily the top end, but maybe one of those teams who, depending on how the Big Ten plays itself out, I'm not quite sure about the rest of their schedule after this game. They got the ability and the potential to get into the playoffs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if they can crack that bottom echelon of teams. So just looking at the stats, Illinois, the Fighting Illini, they have a pretty balanced offense. I think it was like 900 passing yards, 800 rushing yards. So pretty balanced on offense. And what I did say is Penn State, high scoring games, but they ain't played nobody. They haven't played anybody. I think, they barely escaped the win over Bowling Green. Even though that score may not be quite indicative of that. But barely came out on top in that game. And like I said, because they haven't really played anything good, nothing on their stat sheet really jumped out to me. Penn State is kind of like a Michigan to me. Kind of like, I think last year.
Build up every year, man.
Yeah. And I think even last year for Michigan, this is not to discredit them in any kind of way. I think last year was a very awkward season. Kudos to the Wolverines. It's no knock to the Michigan fan base. I just think it's an anomaly for a team to win the way that they won last season. Heavy run, and folks so high on J.J. McCarthy. I don't know, bro. It's just certain players, I don't see it. I just don't see it. But, power to him, top 10 pick. I just, and I feel like they're trying to follow a similar model, and they beat, not to revert from Penn State, just to simply mention how the comparison between Penn State and Michigan is like we're going to pass the ball when we need to, not necessarily using the passing game to create for you. And so Penn State, like you said, how the saying go? Same tune, different song, something like that. So,
yeah.
I don't expect much. I think Illinois can upset them in this game.
And as we've seen so far this year in college football, man, like what was it? NIU defeating who was that on the road?
No.
Come on, man. And so I do agree with you. I do think this is a very slept-on game because I haven't heard anybody talking about it since. Mostly due in part because it is a very, very big game. Very big game that everybody has been talking about. But that's on the way here in just a couple moments.
I think Illinois has the potential to knock them off. Now, because I feel like we have spent so much time talking about this last subject, I want to slip in honorary games, and those being Minnesota versus Michigan. These quick hitters, not nothing too in depth. I haven't even looked at stats or film on this. You should give a quick pick. Minnesota, Michigan.
I'm gonna go Michigan versus them. I'm gonna go Michigan. I feel like, although Michigan has been, they're very spotty in my opinion. I don't see it just as a whole. I don't see it this season. So I'm still going to pick them versus Minnesota, but I do think that Minnesota will play them very good and close.
Okay. I got Michigan in that game, too. They should. But I do think we should put Michigan on upset alert.
I definitely agree with you.
Kentucky, Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is about to beat the brakes off of Kentucky. I hate to say it, but
okay.
Yes, sir.
So I'm kind of guys. The last time Kentucky came to Vaught-Hemingway Stadium, the Ole Miss barely escaped that game. They won that game 22-19. I was a part of that roster. So with that being said, I don't see a blowout per se. I do see, like we talked about in the last episode, Coach White having I see Coach White having a very structured defense, being able to stop some of what Ole Miss is capable of doing. Not necessarily saying Kentucky's going to win because they have to create an offense more than just the running game. But I do see Ole Miss coming out on top, it being a competitive game in Oxford, Mississippi. Arkansas versus Texas A&M. What we got?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bad one for Texas A&M at home, man. Arkansas has been playing good, 2-3-1 teams, but like Arkansas going to come in and get the better of them. I really do. I think so, man. So I got upset in College Station. Arkansas is going to win. I don't know if it's going to be a high-scoring game or a low-scoring game, man. So I'm not even going to give out a score prediction, but I have Arkansas winning for sure. Just don't know if it's going to be big or close game.
So I got Texas A&M coming out in that one. I think Texas A&M is a tough football team. I think we seen that against Notre Dame, even though they lost. I think we saw that. I think they were able to kind of get off some steam in that Florida game, kind of get a win under their belt. So Texas A&M does have the potential, I think, to be a very good team in the SEC this year. And, I'm just looking forward to what they do, but I think they get Arkansas in this game. Louisville versus Notre Dame. And that is one of the 4-ranked matchups. I didn't include that in the other games just due to time constraints, but I think that's typically a good game. Louisville played them pretty tough last year too. So maybe thoughts on that?
From what I've seen from both of those teams right now, I'm just going to say it's going to be a very good game. Shout out to Kory Brooks, University of Alabama transfer. He's leading Louisville in receiving yards thus far this season.
Yeah.
Expect him to do a pretty good job because I haven't really seen any DBs on Notre Dame that's just caught my eye. So expect him and other receivers.
Benjamin Morrison. He's up for the what is it? Not the Biletnikoff, but the Thorpe, the DB, whichever one, I forget. But yeah, he's up for that. Pretty good DB, man.
You gotta look at what Jacory is doing as well. It's
gonna be a good matchup
for sure. Just like a matchup that's on the way. Man, I got what was this game? This is Louisville Notre Dame. I got Notre Dame winning in a close one, but just watch out for Jacory Brooks. That's just kind of my player that I want to see do his thing, man. Like, just do his thing. So if you know, just do his thing.
Oklahoma versus Auburn. That's because after this weekend's Oklahoma, that's it's looking like that's gonna be a closer game than what I expected at the beginning of the season when these schedules came out. You know what I mean? So what's your thoughts on it?
It's gonna be a butt bowl, man. Honestly, I feel like Auburn. It went from these guys are possibly fixing to SEC championship contenders to you cut them on, man. It's like, whoa, what is this? Both quarterbacks I feel like are very inexperienced and they got to get better. Both of Auburn's quarterbacks have to get better, both the starter and the backup. Oklahoma doing fairly well for them to just be transitioning into the SEC, but Oklahoma has done the same thing in a past conference. They'll do good, 4-0, 5-0, and then some game they lose. Yeah. But I'm actually going to go ahead and say Oklahoma will win this game. Simply how to simply do.
I like that defense.
It's Auburn, man. Not this season, man.
Yeah, and that's actually kind of sad because, like you said, I think a lot of people just going based on the trend. Where the team was trending, I think a lot of people at least had Auburn at that 8-4 threshold. But I don't think it's gonna happen this season. I don't think it's gonna happen. But for me, like I kind of finished a point, but I got Oklahoma in this game. Just their defense is stout. They get takeaways. Like their defense forces turnovers, and so that you win that turnover margin, you get short field. You know you're gonna get points in some kind of way, be it field goals, be it short touchdowns. You know you'll get some type of production on offense due to what your defense is able to create. So I have Oklahoma. I think that's at Auburn too. Coming down here, getting the win on the road. And lastly, before we get to the meat and potatoes, Arizona versus Utah. What you got?
Arizona's been balling, man. Arizona has been balling, and that is something that is surprising and just shocking to me. But Arizona been balling. Yeah. So is Utah though.
Yeah.
Those are two teams that I feel like have. I'm not gonna say Arizona just so yet. Utah though, that has been a team that's you slowly been on the up and up. You'll look at them one season and be like Utah. And next season they kind of all right now Utah. Then they just keep going. So Utah, that's one of them teams. So is Arizona this season. But I feel like Utah is kind of just they've been established themselves, and it's going to be Utah beating them. I think that one has the opportunity to be a high-scoring game, honestly. But
yeah,
Utah is definitely going to win that one, in my opinion.
Right.
I'm going to say about in the 40s, both teams. I feel like it'll be a high-scoring game, somewhere in the 40s.
So I like that. Similar to you, Arizona, they got them a dog at receiver too.
Dog.
McMillan.
Can't lie. Dog.
Or no. Noah Fafita is the receiver. I think Tedero McMillan is the. I'd be getting them mixed up. I can't lie. Either way, my guy receiver is a dog, and so I think they create a lot of offense themselves. I think week 1 or 2, you had 304 receiving yards. Like that's nice.
And there's a lot of people out here saying that it's certain wide receivers that are just the best so far, and it's like, come on, man, like you gotta look. If you know, yet again. But I'm gonna just leave it at that, bro. All right, go ahead.
I got Utah pulling that one off. Then Utah is like I've said in the past. To me, Utah is like an SEC team in another conference. Like they got everything that an SEC team would have. The toughness, they got the ability to pass. Even though Jaquindon Jackson is with Arkansas now, they showed the ability to run. They got a complete football team. So I'm interested to see what they do this season. And in this matchup, I got Utah. I don't quite have a shootout. I got 2-score game by Utah, 31-ish to Arizona's 15-ish. So Utah in that game. But man, I think we almost gotta get this one. This next one, the drum roll. This next one, the drum roll. Alabama versus Georgia.
Man, everybody just get your whiskey, your popcorn, your just everybody get ready because it's fixing to be a showdown, man. I've been waiting on this one. I've been waiting all season. Yeah. Ever since we got the tweet. Whoever reported it first. ESPN, Nick Saban has decided. I'm sitting there, I'm somewhere like, whoa, now, like, what's finna happen? Like, hold up, now, is all this finna come to an end?
Okay.
So far, Bama, they still undefeated, but them dogs, no pun intended, they coming into town. They are coming into town, and the way I feel about that game, a lot of Bama fans ain't gonna like me, but hey, I'm just gonna keep it 100, keep it a stack, man, and hey.
So let me ask, okay, so this is how we'll do this then, because I know you have a lot to add about this, but I feel like your angle, it'll be a little bit different than mine.
Most definitely.
So what we'll do is I'm going to go through some of these notes. You just feel free to intercede and interject whenever necessary if you got a point to tag on or something related, you know what I mean? So, man, this is a lot. But let's get into it. So, went back and watched some film today on both teams. Alabama, as well as. Well, actually, I've been watching film in Alabama all week. Earlier today, I went seeing some film against Georgia. And this is what I'll say about Alabama. I think they're very efficient in the run game. Okay. And that's read options as well as RPOs. They do some different things out of their 3-by sets to the field and doubles. 3-by sets close, so when the tight end comes and hugs the line of scrimmage, right in there, 3-by to the field. Something else I noted: mill roll legs makes them very hard to stop. Late pulls in the mesh, that's experience from a guy who you need the most experience from, your quarterback. And I feel like he puts a lot of pressure on the opposing defensive ends. Counterpoint, or not necessarily counterpoint, but to Alabama's benefit, Georgia's defensive end, they have some stout defensive ends. They're fast too, very athletic defensive ends. Very good. I love the way that Georgia defense plays ball. So that's gonna be something to eye and something to cue on those read options and on those RPOs. Being able to put that defensive end on the island, isolate him, and get him to make hard decisions. You're going to have to force him to be a playmaker. So that's something to cue. That is something to cue. I love the way they use traditional zone schemes to create explosives by doing different things. Like, there were a couple plays where everything is getting washed down, and you think it looks just like an inside zone. It's not even a read option. It's a design quarterback run. There is no mesh. He's just holding the ball here, and the running back's not even touching the ball. The running back then is getting used to be a leading blocker. And it's crazy the looks that they can do. But again, that's that isolation by the defensive end, and maybe even if it's a nub by the backside corner or the front side corner, essentially. And so, love to see that. And then this more than anything, I think Milroe has developed in the offseason tremendously. Like, some of the throws that he's making this year, and the deep balls, and even some of the intermediate throws, I think that he has developed, and you can see an elite quarterback. You can see him becoming. That's why I think this is going to be such a big game for him and his confidence and what we actually able to see him doing in prime time. And I love the fact, I think DeBoer is a big compliment to him. I think DeBoer bringing his style. I think DeBoer honestly is able to do more with Jalen Milroe than he was able to do with Michael Penix. And that's no knock to Michael Penix, only to suggest and to label Milroe as a great athlete. Being able to use both arm and feet to create on offense, I think it is a major plus to the Alabama football team. Of course, I think their receivers, we got some decent receivers. I like Jeremy Bernard. I like Ryan Williams. And I like the supporting cast. I think those are pretty much the go-to guys. You got Kendrick Law, still hoping my dog can find his footing in this thing, you know.
For sure.
And Kobe Prentice and company. On to Georgia. That's just what I've seen from Alabama offensively. Georgia. This is what I can say, and I told you this earlier. If they play anything the way they played against Kentucky, against Alabama, they are going to have a hard time in Tuscaloosa.
And vice versa. I feel like if Alabama plays anyway how they played against USF, it is going to be a nightmare in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, for sure. And so I will say this. On paper, they should have lost that Kentucky game. On paper, they should have lost that game. Because when I looked at the stats, they lost the time of possession. They lost the penalty margin. They were worse in first down efficiency in that game. Like, it's a miracle that they got out of Lexington with a win. Like, it really is. What I'm seeing from Georgia on defense, I'm a defensive guy, so this is what I love, you know, watching the defenses. But I think their linebackers do a good job playing downhill. I love the way they play downhill. They play with a certain viciousness, a certain oomph. You know what I mean? I think the whole box as a unit does a good job playing with their hands, striking, shedding guys, getting dudes off of them. You know, getting their eyes and having great vision. I love to see that. I think they have guys, or they do have guys that can play off the ball and the edge backers. So it creates a difficulty for Jalen Milroe at quarterback if he has a check on an RPO call or whatever it is. If we're trying to get said Jack, said Will, said anything, whatever you want to call it, spear, striker, whatever you want to call that position. If this guy, if he's moving back and forth, or if he starts as an off-ball backer, pre-snap, he moves to an edge. It's kind of like, okay, and they bump their run fits. It kind of throws a wrench in what Jalen Milroe can see, what he's able to do. Maybe he starts at edge. He backs off to an off-ball backer. Maybe we can't run this inside zone scheme like we would like. Just throwing some things out there. So I love the versatility in which their box can play. They all move around there. I think they do a good job staying fresh. They have guys rotating consistently, first to third downs. A lot of playmakers on that defensive line. That is going to be Georgia's strength in this game. I said they're going to be tested more in space by Alabama versus any other team that they played. Like I said earlier, Kentucky is not a team that's going to create explosive plays in the passing game. That's not their identity. That's not their brand, right? Kentucky is we're coming at you, right? We're running the ball at you. Georgia, on the other hand, Alabama, on the other hand, they got playmakers. If they get the ball in space, they can make plays. It's been shown. Ryan Williams. It's been shown by Jeremy Bernard. It's been shown by Jan Miller, Justice Haynes. These guys can make you miss. They can run through you. It's not too many. They got a lot of weapons. Alabama has Jalen Milroe. They have a lot of weapons to beat you. So if those guys are clicking, if they're able to get dudes in space, it's going to put a lot of stress on that secondary. Not to say Georgia's secondary can't manage it or keep up with it, but it is going to be a test over 4 quarters for them. I think this is an offensive note that I slipped in here. ETN very good in space. I think ETN is going to be a big plus for them, especially in outside zones when he's able to kind of see a C-gap crease, get to the halfway level, and if they're able to wall off that defensive end, he's not going down by a flow. The flow coming to him, he's not going down with that tackle. He's somebody that can bounce off that, run through that, get to the second level, create more for himself. So ETN, but we've been knowing this, like Big Brother, we've been knowing this. Good ball players. Somebody else I like, Georgia, is Aguero, number 8. He's a big plus for them in the secondary. Very versatile. He's a good run. He's a thumper. He comes downhill. He fills holes. He's very good at what he does. I love to see him. Like there were a couple plays where he's out playing in the slot. Then it might be a jet motion, fly motion. He bumps back. He's able to play in the box with the same level of aggression, and he's not a liability in the run game. So I love to see him play. I love that. And then as we kind of top it off, I think they have a very experienced defense. So for the weapons that Alabama does have, I do feel like their defense and Malachi Starks, number 6, outside corner, can't think of his name, but he was a big playmaker in that Kentucky game for them. Almost had a couple picks. I actually had a forced fumble in that game too. Number 17 is safety. Very, very, very good football players in that secondary, playmakers. So if nothing else keeps Georgia in this game, it's their defense. I think Georgia's defense is better than Alabama's defense, without a doubt. And then, a couple other notes. Georgia's play very sloppy offensively, so it wasn't much to note in that Kentucky game. It just was a sloppy game. And then active secondary, same thing. But those are all my notes. I'll let you kind of give your spiel, and then I guess we could do game predictions and scores.
Man, like I told you, there is a lot that I can say about both teams, and leading into this game this weekend. But I'm the type of person that I'm gonna stand on what I believe. Like, I'm gonna stand on my beliefs, but at the same time, I have to know what's going on. Like, I have to be aware of what's about to happen or what can happen. Georgia got a week. Alabama got a week.
That's right.
And granted, this is not a Nick Saban-led Alabama, but this is still Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard to kind of explain to a person that's maybe not a fan, or if they haven't just been in something like this, like a big game, or just this is the man is gone. Nick Saban has retired, and people are still. I think the University of Alabama just hit 400,000. I think for tuition. This is a rich history, very, very rich history, very rich camp. So all of that ties into these ball games, man. Like, they don't want to lose. Those players don't want to lose by any means necessary. They will do whatever they can do. However, Kirby, he knows all about it. He knows all about everything I was just saying. He's been here. He's coached up some dogs, some real dogs. He done been around it. He got a week too. A week to get into his players' ass like, hey, that last week, we will get beat. Next week, we will get beat to sleep. They got a week to do that. Wow, Alabama just got a week like, all right, y'all just had it's a tale of two different sides. Bama coming off a huge win on the road, early game, going into that bye week like, all right, everything's kind of smooth. That's scary. That is scary because of it's just a momentum thing. Like, this is already a very, very good team with plenty of weapons, like you said. So is Georgia, but I feel like the last game that was played, especially when it's something like this, both teams get a bye week. That last game plays a huge part. Like, man, we just did this against Kentucky. Like, this, I feel like kind of the jitters start to come, and that's when you got them plays that you got to play a wide open. He dropped the ball. You got to play all type of nonsense just start to happen, man. But look, it's all about matchups. Like how I started this off with Georgia and Alabama. This is about to be I think, most equally matched up game that has been played this season. They can go player for player, honestly. So it's going to be a good game, a 4-quarter game for sure. I don't want anybody to say it's going to be a buck. This is not happening. This is not one of them games. It's not going to be 40, 30. It's not. I hope so too now. I really do. But I think this is going to be a 4-quarter game. And one of the teams is going to beat themselves, man. Like, one of the teams are going to beat themselves. It's either going to be by penalties or it's going to be a bust, and it's going to be that one play that deflated. One of these teams are going to beat themselves because
that's just signs of two great teams. Like,
that's it.
Who's going to make the mistake?
That's it. Who's going? It's finna be a blow for blow fight, man. Like, I really hope everybody's ready. It's just not finna be Thursday. Creeping up on Thursday, 10:27 Wednesday. Mm-hmm. But man, I get ready for Saturday because this is, man, two heavyweights. Two heavyweights. Everybody has had this game circled, and if you haven't, you're not a true college football fan. Because, oh my goodness,
not at all. So I guess with that being said, then score predictions. I'm gonna let you take this one first, bro. Let you take this one first, and be clear about your pick too.
I'm worried. I'm worried, man. Okay. I'm worried because I'm doing my thing. I'm dibbling and dabbling and trying to get a little, like I'm putting picks in and this, that, and the third. I'm worried because Tuscaloosa, now Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium at night. Yeah. It ain't nothing to play with, man. And them players, them guys, man, them boys.
Yeah, they turn into something else. When it's a full moon.
They get wild, like they turn up. Hey. So I'm like, it's kind of hard to go against them boys. It really is. But
there you go. Stand on.
I'm going to stand on everything that I believe. Georgia is coming to Tuscaloosa this Saturday.
Yes, sir.
And we'll play Alabama, the hardest that anybody's played them so far this season.
Okay.
Hit them in the mouth from early.
Yeah.
Bama's going to have. Yeah. Bama they're going
to do what they're supposed to do.
Exactly. But
do what Bama do.
I still got Georgia. Man, I'm going to say 20-23. Georgia come out on top. Very low scoring game, but like I said, somewhere in between, I say late third quarter or right around as soon as the fourth quarter start. That's where everybody need to be looking for that one mistake that comes from either team, whether it's a false start, a missed field goal
on the third short false start. Yeah.
Everybody got to pay attention. Like, pay attention to the whole game, but I need everybody to know this is gonna be one of them games where Georgia hit, now they go Alabama, now Georgia is gonna go back and forth, but it's gonna be that one. Oh, and here he's all. It's gonna be that play where everybody like that might be it.
Yeah,
that's it.
It sucked the air out.
There it is.
It sucked the air out of either the whole Brian Denny or Georgia fan base.
One or the other. One or the other. So, and I'm gonna go a little extra. I got that play being. It's gonna be an interception. Malachi Starks. I feel like Milroe's gonna try to force something because they're gonna be down on the road.
In the red zone, you see in the red zone, in the end zone, I can kind of see it. I can see it a little bit. Are we thinking midfield and bringing it?
I'm kind of thinking before they even get to the red zone. I'm thinking before then. I'm thinking this.
Fringe, pick it off, get back to the 20, 30 opposing yard line, get tackled, kind of set up for a field goal or go ahead touchdown.
That's what I'm seeing, man. I see that mistake. I see that mistake coming from Milroe. Like, not take. It's just my mistake.
No, I can see it. I can see it. Just because we seen it in the Rose Bowl. Like sometimes he got that itch to kind of make a play and he do a little too much, and I can see that. I can see it. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, Alabama is gonna win this game. 24-20 Alabama. 24-20 Alabama. They're gonna win this game. This is gonna be no knock to Georgia. Obviously, coming in on the road and having to handle the environment and everything else. Alabama is gonna win this game, 24-20. You heard it out the mouth of Kory. And guys, we appreciate you for being with us tonight. You got anything else to say?
Go Dogs. Go Dogs, man. Live from Tuscaloosa, I'm yelling Go Dogs, and I'm ready. I cannot wait. I'm so ready. Ready, man.
Roll Tide. Guys, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Also, wish your boy a happy birthday, man. We about an hour and a half away from your boy's birthday, guys. Turning 24. I'm very blessed, very thankful to be here in life. And just being able to do this, do something that I'm passionate about doing it. And guys, couldn't ask for a better 24. So I would love it. Right? Great birthday gift would be reach 500 subscribers on my birthday. Y'all run this up when this video drop, kind of get the word out. And guys, just like that, we out.